Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about what it's really like to be in a sorority. So if you've been looking for a little bit of the inside tea, a little bit of what is to be expected, this is definitely the video for you. I know I have another video up that is kind of similar to this, but I wanted to go more in depth with some of the topics and also get some feedback on if you guys would be interested in hearing about some of my personal experiences, some stories, some more like the nitty-gritty, because those stories are a little bit longer, so I wanted to keep this video shorter and just kind of hit like the main points. But let me know if that's something you guys would be interested into, and let's get into the video. All right guys, let's get into it. If you do see me looking down in this direction, ow, my ankle is cracked if you could hear that. This is my notes. I'm looking at my notes. I had a very similar structure for my what is it really like working at Aloe yoga video. I feel like this will just help me keep myself on track a little bit better because I am a rambler and I could sit here and talk for 2 hours straight if you guys let me. But I know people don't love long form content as much as they used to, so let's keep things short and sweet. So I have some major points that I want to cover, and that's what I'm going to be going through today, so let's get started. So number one I have is expectations and image. You are held to a very, very, very high standard being in a sorority, and I'm not going to be naming my school or my chapter in this video. If you really wanted to figure it out, I'm sure you could go find it on my Instagram like pretty easily. I don't have anything hidden, but how you look, how you act, and how you post online is all going to be watched. You are going to be like under 24-hour surveillance, and if you're into that and you're okay with that, like, you should be fine. I hated that aspect of it. I feel like I did not have a single thing in my life that was individual to me anymore, and the minute I would tell like one of my sorority sisters, or if I would open up to anybody, it would get repeated to someone else and they would bring it up to me, and I'd always be like, wait, like, how do you know about that? Like, I just talked about that. Like, it was just very difficult. And although you do expect to have some rules when you go into a sorority, it does take over a lot more of your life than you would think. And I'm gonna get a little bit more into that going further. So second point I have is social media surveillance. This does tie a little bit into the first one as well. Your profiles are going to be constantly monitored by older members and the standards chair. Things that you would never think twice about posting about will suddenly be one of your biggest problems. And it'll be the most minuscule things, like a red cup in the background, a beer can on the ground behind you. It would be the most little, in my opinion, stupid things that you would get in trouble for. And I was the queen of getting in trouble for stuff on my social media. So trust me, I completely understand. And it really was like the most tiny things like I would never think twice about. And it was frustrating to feel like I was constantly like being so scrutinized. And I don't miss that aspect at all. At all. Okay. Number three, this also ties into number two. I feel like they all tie into each other, but is internal reporting and snitching. Unfortunately, I do have a lot of experience with this one as well. But girls will report each other for breaking rules, and sometimes it wasn't even something that serious, and you could tell it was out of like a competition kind of feel or like a jealousy feel. And I'm not sitting here and being like, oh my god, like everyone was so jealous of me. Like, no, I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is girls are petty, especially when you put 150 of them together and try to force them to be friends. Girls can get really petty. I'm gonna leave it at that. Again, if you guys want stories, I have stories I can give you, but they're gonna be a little bit longer, and I'm just trying to hit the main points. But every little thing you do will eventually get back to the exec board, and you will either get a call about it, a text about it, you will hear from a third party that it was being talked about. Like, I promise you, you will never have a moment of like peace or privacy the entirety that you're in a sorority. The entirety, I'm telling you. And number four, okay, cliques and hierarchies. I think one of the main things that was said to me when I was going through recruitment is like, oh my god, like we're not cliquey at all. Like we all love each other so much. And I was like, really? Like I was so naive. I believed all of it. And then I actually got into my chapter and I realized that the entirety of the chapter was cliquey. There were like 14 mini groups of girls, and if you did not find your place, you did not have a place. And it's frustrating because I kind of felt like that sometimes. Like I did have a group of friends and like love them still, like whatever, but at the same time it was really frustrating to feel like if I went to an event and my 3 friends were not there, I had nobody to sit with. I had nobody to talk to. No one went out of their way to talk to me. And if I tried to go out of my way to talk to anyone, I was treated as like weird, or the conversation was like really like shut down, and it sucked. They're very cliquey. And I don't know if other people have had different experience in their chapters. I'm sure that they have. Like, I'm sure some are better than others, but the one that I was in, extremely cliquey. The ones that were at my school that I had friends in said the same thing about theirs. So I highly doubt it's an issue that is individual to my college, but in my experience, it was bad. It was so cliquey, and I hated it. Whatever. Okay, number 5, philanthropy versus partying. Some chapters were really, really passionate about their philanthropy, and then others were really focused on partying. I think this is more school dependent. Our little board that controlled all of the sororities, I forget what it was called, Panhellenic. Our Panhellenic board was pretty chill and pretty relaxed compared to other schools. I would say like the bigger schools in the South have a lot more attention put towards their philanthropy. My college, I don't really feel like a lot of the chapters did that much or really had that much passion for it. And I don't want to sit here and say like, oh my God, like, yeah, like they weren't passionate about this cause or they weren't passionate about this. Like, no, I'm just saying with my personal experience, it always felt like philanthropy was on the back burner, which I did not like because I had a personal connection with mine, and it meant a lot to me that that was the chapter I ended up getting going through recruitment. And I was just kind of disappointed by that. Like, I really thought that there was going to be a lot more to do for the philanthropy and a lot more to kind of like take part in, and I did not have that experience. So in my opinion, that was disappointing because the partying aspect got pretty old pretty fast. And that ties into my next point, which is pressure to drink and party. And when you join, people will always say like, oh my God, like you don't need to go to our mixers, you don't have to go to the parties, like you don't have to drink if you don't want to, but if you do skip a lot of mixers, you can be penalized for it. And I always found that pretty weird because we would base our events off of a point system. So if you did not have enough points, you couldn't go to formal. And if you couldn't go and you didn't have enough points, you were getting fined. And I did not like that because if I don't want to go to a mixer and I don't want to go and drink and I don't want to go and party, why am I being told like, oh, well, you can't go to formal then because you didn't go to this mixer last week? Well, what if I didn't want to drink that night? What if I didn't want to go out that night? What if I had schoolwork or another priority or a job? Like, I did not like that aspect at all. I thought it was annoying. To put it like very like simply, like I thought it was annoying. And I didn't like it because some people don't drink, and that's completely fine. Some people are sober, and that's completely fine. Some people don't want to go out every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's completely fine. Didn't like that aspect. So number 7 is time commitment. Between chapter meetings, events, volunteer hours, mandatory activities, and everything else, like also being a full-time student, also having a job, also having a potential internship, it is a lot. And like I was just saying, that point system ended up catching up to a lot of us at the end, and I could not stand it. But I had already put so much time in that I didn't want to drop because, again, I had already spent 3.5 years worth of dues to be in this chapter that I didn't like. I don't know. It just really sucked. I was so overwhelmed sometimes, and I had actually been a 5th year, like long story short, they would not let me take an early alumni because I had transferred into the college and all this and that, whatever. It was technically only my 4th year at that university. Like, they were just really giving me a hard time about it. And I was working, I was taking 2 classes my last semester. I wasn't even taking enough credits to be an active member, but for some reason they still made me pay dues and still wouldn't let me take early alumni. But I ended up missing initiation because I had basically an adult life at that point, and they fined me $100. And I tried to plead my case. I tried to be like, I had to work. I have bills to pay. Like, I am not really in the college mindset anymore. I'm taking 2 classes just to graduate right now. And they did not care. And I'm technically in bad standing with my sorority to this day because of it. So, whatever. And also, that fine ties into my next point, which is number 8, financial reality. It's expensive. And in the chapter I was in, and I think that this is pretty consistent across the board, you pay dues, which are at the very least a couple hundred dollars a semester, a couple hundred of dollars, but a couple $100 a semester. And It doesn't cover anything that you want to do. It doesn't cover formal tickets. It doesn't cover any philanthropy events. It doesn't cover Greek Day, homecoming. It doesn't cover any t-shirts or merchandise. It does not cover anything. So you basically are paying this minimum of a couple $100, and you're still paying out of pocket for everything else on top of that. It made no sense to me. No one could really explain it to me. I don't know where that money was going. I have no idea. But it ended up being a lot more than you would think, because when you join, they sit you down and they kind of describe what the dues and the bills are going to look like, and you're like, oh, okay. And then 2 weeks later, like, they have a merch drop and you want the sweatshirt and you have to pay $75 out of pocket for this merch drop. Like, what? Like, it was just very frustrating. Number 9, sense of belonging and identity. There are like a lot of positives that come with, my cat's behind my mirror, being in a sorority. You have a place where you feel like you belong for the most part. I didn't really feel that, but I know a lot of other people did, so I'm glad that they were able to have that positive takeaway. Sometimes you have instant friends. Like, I would say you have instant acquaintances that, you know, like, they'll say hi to you when they pass you on campus, but they're not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, like, how's your mom and your dad? Like, no, like, they don't really care. Like, they're just kind of saying hi to you because you're both wearing the same letters, and that's about it. But you do have a place where you can go. Like, I did put myself outside of my comfort zone, and I tried to make new friends, and I tried to meet new people, and it just did not really, like, pay off for me. And, like, it is what it is. Like, I've been out of college for 3 years, so I'm not going to sit here and, like, hold on to it for the rest of my life. But I know for a lot of people, they go in and they absolutely love it, and they have an amazing experience. They have a great time meeting people. Like, some people love it, some people hate it, but you do have a place where you belong. And I guess that is more of an individual experience as to what that means for you, but it's kind of weighing the pros and cons and, like, seeing how much you're willing to put into it. Like, I'm sure if I had the time and the energy to join, like, the standards board or be on exec, like, I would have had a better experience, but I knew damn straight none of those girls were voting me into a exec position because I just didn't have the time. I just did not have the time, and I was not feeling very great about it. Like, I just wasn't, and it is what it is. Again, my final reflection, would I do it again? No. I would not do it again. Looking back, I think I was trying to convince myself to love it so badly that I never really took time to understand I was trying to convince myself that I loved it. And I don't know if I would really do anything differently. Maybe a different chapter would have been better for me. Maybe a different organization would have been better for me. Maybe, you know, like, really, like, trying, like, harder and my, like, hardest to fit in and, like, meet more people. Like, maybe I would have done, like, some things differently, but I can't really sit here and say that I'm at fault for a lot of my negative experiences. Like, I just don't think I liked it. And I don't think it was something wrong with me. And I don't even think that it was something wrong with every single girl in the chapter. I'm not saying that at all, but I just don't think it was for me. And I think that there are a lot of things about it that are common misconceptions, and that's why I like to talk about it now, because a lot of people ask me questions, and I'm like, I might have been posting about it like I loved it, but I didn't. I was a anxious mess. I was always upset about something, and I was always getting into trouble because girls had no problem trying to make it miserable for me. Like, I think I was a little bit of an easy target, and that was recognized. But again, if you guys are looking for more stories and in-depth things, like, I would love to come on here and talk about some of those, just because it feels like I finally come to terms with the fact that I just was not happy. And it's not, like, friend group specific. It's not, like, girl specific or anything like that. I think it was just pretty much as a whole. So I don't want people to think, like, I'm going to come on here and, like, expose, like, this is not, no. I'm just talking about my experience. Like, honestly, like, I'm entitled to my feelings, and my feelings are valid. So, I don't know. Some advice. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. It never felt right for me, and it wasn't right for me. And it, like I said, it took me a very long time to come to terms with that, but trust your gut. If it does not feel right for you, it never will. So, all right, let me know if you guys want to see more content like this. I'd love to keep making these videos. They're quick and they're easy for me to film. Like, this was a one-shot take where I just sat here and talked, which is kind of crazy. I'll probably clip it up a little bit to make it shorter for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my other social medias. I'm like sticking to my chair. It's a little hot in my bathroom. But again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.